Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. I am Simply G, and today we're going to be looking at all of my pickups for the last half of January. Like with my last pickups video, there really isn't a huge amount to show off here, so hopefully this video will be a little bit shorter than usual. January has been a pretty slow month for me in regards to buying just in general, so I do think that there will be more in February just from some stragglers for January pre-orders and that sort of thing, but in saying that, there's only one volume of manga to show off here. I have a couple other things to show off too, which were stragglers from Christmas sales. So yeah, I'll just get straight into it and I hope you guys enjoy. So first off, as always, we have some anime. This is the Anime Limited store exclusive of Escaflowne. So this is their, I guess, sort of limited or store exclusive chipboard release of the film and the show itself, as well as a art book. And if you're not familiar with this show, it's a fantasy series, sort of an isekai, or definitely an isekai that came out in the 90s, is incredibly popular and is very good. I would definitely recommend it if you like shoujo isekai especially. But if you weren't aware, this series actually had a Funimation run Kickstarter a couple years back now, and that was to fund a new English dub. So with the original television series, there was actually 4 or 5 episodes that had director's cuts, which were a little bit longer, and so the original dub that came out previously wouldn't match up with all of those episodes. So Funimation, wanting to re-release the series, didn't want to miss out on those director's cut episodes, so wanted to redub it so that people would have the chance to watch it in both English and Japanese and have this new footage and just have the sort of best release they could. For the UK, so if you followed the Kickstarter, it was for Region A only, so generally the US and Canada and some other places, but obviously Funimation is a US company, so really the focus was on those fans. I didn't participate, and from what I've heard, it wasn't the best run Kickstarter, but it did get fulfilled to its entirety, so it's not like people are really hanging out for their rewards or anything. It was done fairly professionally, but not the best, especially compared to some other anime Kickstarters that have also been run. But, so when the Kickstarter was being run, only the new director's cut episodes would be included on the Blu-ray, so it meant that only the dub would be available on Blu-ray, and if you wanted the original dub, you could also buy like a higher tier that had a DVD set of that original dub. When the UK licensed this series or sub-licensed it from Funimation, what they did instead of that was that they actually put an extra disc into the Blu-ray set. So the first disc has the director's cut episodes with the new dub and Japanese, and then the second disc has those same episodes but the original version, so it has the original dub on those 8 or however many episodes that it is. And then the final 2 discs have both dubs and the Japanese. So this, if to my knowledge, is the only way to have the original dub on Blu-ray, which is a little bit of a shame because obviously a lot of people are big fans of the original dub. I haven't heard too many great things about the new dub, but of course bias into what you're familiar with. You can't always take those sorts of criticisms at face value. Needless to say, I've been meaning to pick up this show for a long time. I had the DVDs many years ago. I sold off my sets after the Funimation Blu-ray was successful in funding. I didn't want to contribute to the Kickstarter, but I did think that I would probably get the Blu-rays in the future. And with the Christmas sale, luckily, Anime Limited, on their website, they had an early bird offer for this set. So I decided to pick this up as well as the next thing I'm going to be showing off. And I'm really happy with it because it's not too ostentatious. It's this type of limited edition that I really like, where it's just a normal chipboard case with either just a normal sort of Blu-ray case or a digipack and a book, no real huge physical extras. So I'm really, really happy that I managed to get this box and that it has turned out so nicely. And you can still get this box at a slightly higher price on Anime Limited's online store. So it is still available if you're wanting this. Another Anime Limited online store exclusive from the Christmas sales that I picked up was Snow White with the Red Hair. For people who have followed my channel for a while, you probably know that I did actually own the 2 seasons of Snow White with the blue hair previously, just the standard UK editions, and actually made a chipboard box myself. And I was quite surprised to see this set come up. I actually sold that set with the box to a wonderful person who follows me on Twitter and on YouTube, and I hope that she is enjoying it. But this set, it is pretty much exactly, again, like the Escaflowne set. It has both seasons in there. Interestingly, it has clear Blu-ray cases, which the standard editions didn't. And again, we have a art book here as well. I remember when I first saw the pictures of this set during the 12 Days of Anime promotion that I found it quite funny that this box and the box that I made both used this image on it. I was like, oh, I'm doing as well as the professionals, I guess. Yeah, so it was quite satisfying to see it, and really I guess it's sort of a superfluous change because obviously I had a very functional box and set that I already had, but I didn't feel like, you know, I just preferred to get this set, and I don't know, I had that set to a new home, and I don't really regret doing either. I'm really, really happy that this set got to me because I didn't mention it with Escaflowne, but the last Christmas sale that they had a lot of issues with the company, who was actually Sony, who was actually shipping out all of the orders. So a lot of things didn't get shipped out during the holiday season at all. So it wasn't until way later that a lot of orders started being fulfilled, which is a real shame for Anime Limited. I feel like they are a company that does a lot of very good work. They have a lot of hardworking people there, but they continually seem to come up with issues. A lot of things sort of impact their workflow a lot. Previously, in the last couple of years, they've had a lot of things being pushed back, release dates, just because of the BBFC or all sorts of different things. And it's a shame because I really do like Anime Limited as a company. I like all of the releases that I own from them. They do really beautiful work. Ping Pong, their release of that is beautiful, as is Tatami Galaxy, as is pretty much anything that I own from them. Wolf's Rain, the Full Metal Alchemist original sets, everything. They put a lot of work into their releases, and it seems so sad that a lot of that does get sort of negative attention because they do have to push back release dates, or that the gap between a US series like release and a UK release is so large that most people who want it just buy the US release anyway, and so obviously the demand isn't there in the UK market. It's a shame, but I will always continue to support them, especially as they keep licensing things that I'm super, super interested in. As I said, Ping Pong was a really great release from them. They had a really wonderful release of Baccano. They're the only place that I know that have Tatami Galaxy on Blu-ray. There are Wolf's Rain Ultimate Editions and the Fullmetal Alchemist Ultimate Editions are the only two that I've picked up, but they're both really, really very nice. They've done a lot of really wonderful releases. I'm looking forward to some of their future stuff as well, especially Silver Spoon. Although we do have, they have a lot of things announced, but not so much actually solicited for release, which can make people nervous. I'm hoping to see how their Revolutionary Girl Utena set turns out as well. So fingers crossed for them. As I said, I'm a big fan of their releases. I hope they keep doing what they're doing. And yeah, in regards to Snow White and with the red hair, it's a wonderful sort of historical or royalty focused shoujo about a young girl who has very, very red hair. She escapes her homeland, the kingdom where she grew up, after the prince there she catches his eye, so he sort of demands her to join the castle, and I don't know whether to become his bride or what. And she doesn't want to do any of that. She's a herbologist, sort of the equivalent of a pharmacist, and she studies plants and medicines, and so she would much rather prefer to stay, amongst the people and help people. She is, of course, her background is just like a normal commoner as well, so she really has no desires to become royalty. She runs away and is found by another prince, coincidentally, in the woods with his sort of entourage of guards, and they welcome her to his kingdom and sort of offers her protection, allows her to study as like a royal herbologist, so she's still able to follow her dreams, as well as like their budding romance. It's a really, really, really good series. I love the anime. The manga has just recently been licensed by Viz, so we are we are getting the first season in May. So yes, definitely pick up that when that's available. But the show is really great. I believe it's available streaming most places, and one you should check out if you are wanting a nice sort of romance but not high school focused shoujo series. And finally, for this month, or for this pickups video and this month, we have the only manga that I got this last 2 weeks, and that is An Invitation from a Crab by Panpanya. This is another DENPA Books release, and it took quite a while to reach me here in Australia, but like with all of DENPA's releases so far, Inside Mari and this, and I don't have the physical version of Pez, but I have read the digital version, and then also their Future Log art book. All wonderful quality. It's obvious that DENPA is putting a lot of love into these releases, and this manga is definitely not necessarily an easy one to recommend to most people. It's very, very avant-garde and indie and somewhat underground. It doesn't really have a continual plot line. It's much more sort of a everyday ruminations on life and all the weird things that our main character sort of observes in her daily life with her dog. It's an interesting one. I'm really glad that we are getting more manga like this available in English, but again, if you're not someone who likes alternative manga or indie stuff or underground or independently published stuff, this probably isn't for you. Obviously, everybody has their different tastes and different things that they're interested in reading, and this won't appeal to everyone. But again, I'm really glad that DENPA is bringing these types of manga to English-speaking readers, because obviously the more manga that's available is always a good thing. More variety just allows people to discover new things or appeal to a much broader audience or demographic of people. It's really, really nice and satisfying. And the fact that like a new publisher has gone forward with this sort of mindset is really encouraging as well, because for people who know Ed Chavez or have followed the industry for a long time, you know that he basically founded and ran Vertical during its beginnings, and then later did leave that company. But when he was in charge, we got so many wonderful, like, just really original or underground or unknown quantities, or really interesting josei and seinen and things you would never really know about or consider, and they're definitely not ones that have like a huge online hype about them. But again, that sort of series and that sort of title does have a more niche appeal, and I do think that there are a subset of manga fans who do want more of this type of book. And this is a wonderful book. It's so interesting and engaging, and I personally, as I'm sure many of you know, I do really enjoy these types of books. It is a little bit esoteric. It is a little bit unusual and sort of outside of the zone of more comfortable manga, but it's just so nice to have something a little bit different when you do sometimes feel like you're just continually being bombarded by the same sorts of character tropes and settings and all of these sorts of things again and again within this market. Because as I said, the more manga there is, it's always a good thing, but you have to sift through the chaff sometimes to get to the real gold that is available. Again, this is one of this publisher's first books, so with this, as well as Inside Mari and Pez and Feature Log, we're getting a real sense of the direction that DENPA wants to go in. The second volume of Inside Mari has been released this month. I have not yet received it, and I'm not really in a huge rush to, but we are also going to be seeing the Heavenly Delusions debut, Maiden Railways, Kaiji, and their other one that I can't remember the name of. So there's a lot of stuff coming from them, a lot of really interesting titles that I'm particularly wanting and looking forward to, and that a lot of other people as well, I think, are of that same opinion. There's some really, really great stuff out there, and yeah, An Invitation from a Crab is definitely one that I would say, if you're looking for something a little bit different, pick it up. From what I can tell from Ed Chavez's Twitter, this book, or at least it's implied that this book has now been requested or put onto a required reading list for at least one university unit or class, which is really interesting and really exciting for such a new publisher as well. But the fact is that this is a book that I think people can study in an academic sense and sort of explore the themes of it and see what this book really is trying to say, or what, as readers, we are meant to perceive from this book and from our lives, normal literary types of explorations. It's really, really interesting to see how manga is going right now. So again, whilst I didn't get a huge amount of manga this month, I only got this and the final volume of Descending Stories. It was a really strong month for me when it came to reading manga. So that is everything that I got for this last half of January. not a huge month for pickups for me. I do, as I said, have some sort of January things that will be showing up in February and that type of thing, because it always takes forever for shipping to get to me. But I'm not complaining. I had wanted to focus a lot more with regards to my spending this year. Not that I ever overspent too much last year, but I got a huge volume of manga. Facilitated mostly because I did pick up pretty much the entire runs of various series throughout the year, but I'm hoping that this year will not be the same way. There are plenty of manga that I'm still wanting to collect that are continuations, and so many new debuts that are really exciting and interesting for this year. So I'm definitely going to be jumping on those, and they maybe aren't exactly the ones that a lot of people are also getting, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll have to see. But it's been really interesting, and 2019 is off to a good start, at least in regards to my collection and collecting and this sorts of things being released already. But let me know your guys' thoughts, opinions. I love reading your comments. As always, my in the description is both my Twitter and a link to my Book Depository affiliate link. Again, no obligation to use that, but it is there if you're wanting to use that website. It's really wonderful. Pretty much the only place I buy books aside from Amazon and also Wordery, because of free shipping, really great customer service, really great pricing. It's by far the best place to buy books if you are outside of the United States. So yes, there's that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you've been reading, what you picked up this month, anything that you think that I've missed out on for this month, or things that you agree with or totally disagree with. I love reading your comments. But I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Bye till then.